All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. I am Nathan Nunez, the curator of curiosity here at Curioporium in Southington. Want to say thank you very much for jumping in. This is our first live broadcast coming from the Curio Chronicle studio right here inside of our Curiosity shop. So today I thought, what better way to start it off than with an unboxing? We get a lot of things from a lot of different artists, retailers. Um, a lot of it comes in every day, and the best conversations I have is with our UPS guy and mailman of what is in the box today. So sometimes in some boxes it may be taxidermy, other instances it could be bones, but they're always interested to see what they're carrying into the shop for us, um, and there's just no telling what it could be. So the first thing I wanted to do that came in today is some altered dolls. For those of you that aren't familiar with altered dolls, those are usually some type of doll, whether it's a porcelain doll or a plushie doll that's taken by an artist and pulled apart, rearranged, things added to it. It's an art form. Maybe some people would call it an art form of assemblage. Other people would not call it an art form and would say it's just kind of altering somebody else's work, which I personally don't agree with. I think anything that somebody puts time and effort into, and anyone who really decides to, if they pick up a paintbrush and they're going to paint over someone's painting or add to it, that's art. It's being creative, right? It's being curious and being creative. For myself, dolls have long since been a fascination. Ever since I was a little kid, if you happen to be in the area and you do come into Curioporium, you will see one of my first dolls, Honey, is here in one of our curio shelves. That's my doll from when I was a little baby. A lot of interesting story behind that, which we'll get to, at another podcast. But for me, dolls have always hold some sort of magic, some sort of I don't know what you'd call it, but I always would look at them and wonder what's their story. Whether it was a doll that I had or a doll that I buy for my kid. Some of the history of just dolls in general can be harkened way, way back to folklore, where dolls were given to children to keep them safe from evil spirits and things like that. That's really where dolls kind of grew out of, not just facsimiles of real life. There was other meanings that were put to it. And for myself, I was always fascinated, and dolls in themselves have a wide history around the world, depending on what parts you're coming from, whether it's tradition of giving a certain doll at a certain age, or how they're made. In some cultures, they're made from straw, others it's fabric, all different types of things. But the altar doll is kind of very near and dear to me. There's a lot of altar dolls here in Curioporium, hanging absolutely everywhere. I love to see what artists do with them. Sometimes, I'll make some myself. It's coming up with an idea, looking at a doll, and really kind of see what's in there. So the actual history of altar dolls does span from the 20th century. It started out as a kind of surrealist subversion, all the way to horror. One of the most famous innovators, or the first people that did alter dolls, was Hans Bellerman, and he used actually giant life-size dolls. And for him, it was kind of changing them into an emotional, artistic, macabre expression. So he really kind of pioneered that. Then in came into the Victorian mourning dolls. Not so much altered dolls, but these dolls were they're more likened to a voodoo doll or a puppet. Usually they were done for lost family members or people who have passed away. This was mostly in the antebellum South, which was, of course, during slavery. Interesting doll of note there is a doll that's called a topsy turvy doll. Now, this doll was two sided, could be folded inside and outside. On the outside, it was a proper antebellum South portrayal of a doll. When you would take it and turn it inside out, it was a depiction of a black person. So that was a very popular doll that kind of showed the dichotomy of what was going on in the South. And then up through there, there's the modern creepy dolls. We've seen them a lot. Probably one of the most famous dolls would be everyone's favorite Raggedy Ann doll. From many different horror movies and the whole kind of discussion behind there. Annabelle the doll has a life of her own, literally speaking. And we actually have her cousin in here, which you can actually come in and look for, yeah, here in Curioporium. Then finally, we get to the reborn dolls. Now, these dolls are mass produced dolls, mostly kind of silicone based, ultra, ultra, ultra realistic. They were supposed to look like real life children, babies. They're used for many different things. Sometimes, if a child passes away, these reborn dolls are actually made in their image to help with the mourning process from the parents. Um, Very interesting stuff. Very expensive dolls if they're very well done, hand painted, hand spray painted, very detailed and intricate. And then there's the individuals who take it a step further. We actually have several of these altered reborn dolls here in our nursery. So, of course, we have a little fawn baby that's a cross between a fawn and a human. We have Luna, who is our were child. And if you take a look at these, they're ultra, ultra realistic. The weight is of a child of that size. And I personally absolutely love these dolls. And that's why we have a nursery over here. Um, so dolls, of course, big part of Curioporium, as well as the altar dolls. Right here, I have the package that came in. We're going to unwrap it, see what's in there. Going to use my trusty Liston knife. Actually, Liston knife is supposedly the style of knife that Jack the Ripper used. Um, Different story with this. Different story with this. So we're gonna get right here, right in here. These were made specifically uh, for curiosity shops. They cannot be the person who makes these does not sell to the public. A lot of our artists and vendors are like that. I've spent years finding the right individuals to stock things in here. Some of them you're not going to find on Etsy. They're one offs. And part of the thing is when I work with a lot of artists is I will come in and we'll kind of a lot of people say, do you do commission here at Curioporium? And I actually don't do commission. I used to, but for myself and the way Curioporium operates and things come in quickly, go out quickly, it's just easier for me to form kind of a partnership with an artist who will actually produce something specifically for Curioporium. And this way, one, it's kind of you get exclusivity with it, but also I don't have to kind of go out searching all the time for something. So as we open it up, I have something. Sorry. It looks like a garter belt, so that's going to be interesting. Oh, what's in here? And I love dolls. I love dolls that have um, props to them. Uh, I love displaying them with props. This prop looks awesome in and of itself. This looks a nice rattan chair. So somebody's going to be sitting pretty in that. It's like Christmas every day here. I'm telling you. Oh, 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 we got the first one. What is it? Looks like a veil, so it's probably a bridal doll. Did an excellent job. So the first thing I noticed is the hands. See, you see the hands with a little bit of nail polish on it. So that's always a good sign. It's like a grand reveal. Let's see how am I supposed to get her head. Now, as I'm doing this, just a reminder to everybody: this is our first kind of broadcast of the Curio Chronicles here at Curioporium Live. This segment is live. Uh, while the shop is open, people are shopping. You may see them behind my shoulder. They may pop into the camera. Um, just something a little bit curious and different to do. So here we go. Put down her veil. Lovely look. Lovely. Do you say I do? Till death do us part. So really cute doll. Really good job on the makeup. See there, nice little necklace over here with the veil. And not particularly my favorite doll. Now, whenever I get these, I see pictures beforehand, but it's always different from when it's in your hand. Um, and this, the person did some great detail on it. There's some weathering on the face. You can see. Ooh, look at that light. Built-in light. Let me tell you. So I guess this must shoes too. I guess this must be what the garter belt is for. And the shoes. Look, the shoes. Nice shoes. So all in all, a very cute, very nice doll to the collection. Fairly approachable. I'm sure it'll be gone by Sunday. But cute nevertheless. And everybody gets a name here. So whether it's myself or Sabrina, who works here, who you'll actually will get an opportunity to meet, will name everything in the store has a name. All right. Oh, there's. Okay, so here we go. Got another one. Oh, something in the hand. Ooh, warding off some evil spirits there. Oh, this is from the Sugar Plum Company. I love when you can actually tell where the doll came from. And here we go. I know some families like dolls. We get all types in here. We have a lot of people do bring in dolls to donate them because they don't want them in their house. They were given to them. They found them in the attic. That's fine. All dolls are just looking for homes and forever. That's the only thing they want. They want forever. This one's uber cute. It's probably for one of the chairs. So definitely did it as a two-sided doll, which I love. From this side, looks so beautiful, angelic. And then it's just like awesome. A little closer. So I definitely like this doll. I like this doll more than the last one. If you ask me why, I don't know. For myself, it might have a little bit of a story to it in terms of if I try to think about who this doll is and who she is. I like how it's got right down to the lipstick. There's that kind of cut in half feature. To me, that's just really interesting. The next thing I would do with this doll after she gets a name, or maybe not, is really kind of see what the energy is and what her story is and present that story. Now, again, a lot of things when you come into Curioporium have their own stories. 9 times out of 10, when you purchase something, if it's an antique or an oddity, you're not going to know the story since I only publish some of them. But with the dolls, it's just something about the dolls that I think they need their own story of where they came from, what they're going to bring to your house. To me, this really feels like a protection doll. Just very cute, and I love the little touches like the nails, and I definitely love the cross. So uber cute. There's more. So this doll, I've seen this doll. It's a blank doll, which you can get. So we have several of these, and the faces will look very similar. But it's always great to see what everybody does to interpret and make it their own. Once again, I mean, this is some heavy duty packing. Once again, thank you to everybody who's joining the Curio Chronicles live podcast today from our studios right here in Curioporium. We're streaming everywhere, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can definitely reach us there. If you want to become an insider, definitely subscribe to our Patreon. Just started a couple weeks ago. We're growing strong. You will get a lot of inside things that you won't get on these streams, as well as personal tours of the shop by myself, as well as behind the scenes of how we make our different curiosities. And depending on your level, you might get your own very special curated curiosity box. So here's the next one. Can anybody think inspiration for this one? Yeah, it looks like a grubby doll. I love the little spoon. Anytime I see green stuff over a face like that, I know you're going to think Exorcist. But all in all, very cute. You know, got the little raggedy feet. Really good attention to detail. Again, same kind of um, painting on it. One black eye. Ooh, ooh, baby doll. I just love having all these types of people who are coming in and just like looking over my shoulders and are like, wait a second, what is this? uh it's very creepy, very cool. So you can check that out. All right all right so last one coming in. Oh, this is a big one. It's a big one. All right. So for me, I can already tell this is a nice quality doll. I love that it's got the kind of crushed velvet on it. Again, the hands, nice little hands on there. Ooh. Go with the feet again. So people who are asking, no, I do not have any of these dolls at home. I do not have anything like this at home. That's why I have a store. I was told, get your stuff out of the house. And no, my house does not look like this, unfortunately. If you're into like French country kitchen whatever design, then I got the place for you. Oh, nice little shoes, and here we go. Oh, she's got a raggedy wig. Look at that. Look at that head. She got a lot of raggedy wig. So here she is. Ooh. Wow, look at that hair. Looks like my 7-year-old when she wakes up in the morning. So very cute. See the little blood stain on there. Kind of like that. Very cute. So very for myself, good entry points for people who want dolls. Very, I wouldn't say run of the mill, but just kind of cute enough to have on display, but it's not going to really scare the hell out of everybody. But again, I do have to say, so let's get all these guys up here. Get all these guys. Ooh, look, look, look. Okay, here we go. Look, this is everybody, little gang. So these are four little beauties, which will now have a place in the shop. Oh, look, I see little kids over there. These dolls want to go home. Again, this is my favorite one right here out of all these. So these again, Everyone's like, "Oh, are these haunted dolls?" No, I don't traffic in haunted items. No, I believe in energy. Items have energy, things like that. These are obviously not old dolls. They're probably new dolls that were kind of done up like this. But even then, like I said, they got their own story. This one, hungry. Maybe I'll put that one in a coffin. Here we got the cutie patootie. I really like this one, so I'm gonna hang on to it. Again, when you come in here, Curioporium, we're open 6 days a week, every day except for Monday. If you're in the area, we've had a lot of people, a lot of supportive people coming out state, people traveling through the state who've heard of the shop, who have seen it on one of the social media platforms, and just coming in. Really, it's unlike anything you've really ever been to. We do have people who spend hours in here hanging out, looking at the exhibits. Everything's hands on. That's the biggest thing here. Everything is hands on. I know that drives some people crazy that know me, but that's the whole part of it. Curioporium tries to get you to see the curious in everything, and one of the ways is from what you see, what you smell, and what you touch. I think touch is a huge important part. There's some vintage things here from the 1800s. We have coins from the 1600s, but you actually get to touch them. And for me, growing up with museums, I loved museums. It was tactile things. Come in here. We have a whole display of all our different dolls, and just seeing them and being able to take one off the shelf and hold it, I think gives you a very special view into things that you wouldn't otherwise have. Um, and again, not your typical shop. Don't try to be. There's a lot of great shops up there on the East Coast, even here in Connecticut. Everyone's got their own different style. This store is just something that I like to do. So this platform is fairly new for us and for me. So I'm winging it with all this stuff, with this new age technology, and the TikToks that my 16-year-old schools me in. We hope to bring you more of this content. A lot of people have come in asking if we're going to do special guests and things like that. Yes, we absolutely are. But the unboxing, is almost going to be like a daily thing. We've got a lot of stuff in from vintage, antique artists, and then specialty retail. Specialty retail. So there's always something going on. So just wanted to jump on a little bit of unboxing for everybody. Want to say thank you very much for joining in the stream. Hopefully there weren't any streaming problems, which I'm probably sure there was because we're streaming to 4 different platforms at once. But once again, thank you, and I hope to see you soon. Stay curious.